Hey, everybody. Yeah, welcome to another Open Source Thursdays. If you're joining us again from from just about half an hour ago, welcome once again. If not, hey, I hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. We're here at CodeC here again to have our open source stream, and I'm joined from Taylor from DistributeAid. So, hey, Taylor, thanks for joining in.
Hey, what up, Ramon? Good to be back.
Oh, Noreen says she can't hear me. Can you hear me now? Let's see. There's a bit of a lag in the chat.
Um,
Actually, I'm going to see. Loud and clear over here. Yes. Great. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining in. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of coding, catching up on what we were working on over at the mob/ensemble programming event, which we'll get into in just a moment, as well as talking about how that went. And yeah, but I wanted to give folks a bit of context. Taylor, would you like to share with us a little bit about DistributeAid?
totally. So, distribute aid
Oops.
is the
Taylor, I'm very sorry, but looks like we're having some connection issues. Let's see if it comes back. Hey, Taylor, are you there?
I think I'm back. Am I back, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, so I am out
Sorry.
in Serbia. We do not have that first world internet, and sometimes it gets a little bit spotty. Sweet. Okay. Should I just restart the distributed overview bit?
Yes, please. We lost you just when you started.
Gotcha. So DistributeAid is the EU's, maybe the world's largest grassroots humanitarian aid supply chain. We ship aid between hundreds of small grassroots partners. On the collection side, we're mainly focused on the UK and Germany, and the Netherlands. On the distribution side, we support groups in France, Greece, Serbia, Bosnia. We just opened up a new route to Lebanon, which is very exciting. And we're starting a disaster relief program in the States, taking what we learned in Europe to apply, in natural disaster responses in the US as kind of climate change continues to take its toll. And then, of course, from that, we hope to apply the lessons learned back to Europe, which I think in Germany, they just experienced some pretty massive flooding over here. So dealing with heavy stuff all day long, but we get excited about it because we get to help, right? And actually move literally tons of aid to the groups serving people in need. On top of that, that's kind of our open access infrastructure, very inspired by the open source world. And we're building an open source technology platform that'll power that, which will allow people to engage with it in a more self-serve manner. It'll allow them to use our techniques on the logistics side and apply it to their own shipments or work with us on the regular routes we're building. So super exciting stuff. Yeah, I think we kind of want to, there's the concept of the solidarity economy, right? It's not a wants-driven economy. It's not a power-driven economy. It's this needs-based economy where everyone's looking out for each other. And there's tools like Open Collective that are doing that from kind of a financials perspective. We're doing that from a supply chain perspective. So how are things ethically made? How are we reusing or recycling goods in ways instead of having to consume new ones? And how do we get those to people to help meet their basic needs so that everyone has this kind of starting point, which lets us, have a stable life so that we in turn can go help other people.
That's amazing. It's such an inspiring project, and I'm so honored that we can, that y'all will let us contribute and support however we can, as well as, contribute because it's open source. One of my favorite things is that we can all be part of this, and it doesn't have to be centralized.
Well, that's what I love about it too, is there's a lot of open source tech for tech, right? So libraries, frameworks, things that might be useful in your day job or to hack on a side project or something. What we're doing is we're really building an open source product for everybody else outside of the tech world. And so I think that puts us in a fairly unique position where we get to work with amazing companies like CodeC. And thank you for the very generous monthly contribution as a tech sponsor. Like, that helps so much. And in turn, we get to use CodeC to both help our efforts, but also show off all the cool things you're doing, right? And so I think it's kind of this new dynamic in the open source world. It's not just building tools for each other anymore. We're building tools that apply these concepts of democracy, of participation, of being open, of anyone being able to pick them up and use it without permission, being able to modify it without permission, to something that is accessible to the rest of the world.
Absolutely. And so we've been doing this. Was it a month ago? We had
something like that, yeah.
Yeah, a month ago we got together here on stream, and we did a little bit of coding for DistributeAid's new landing page, which was a lot of fun. And we got, I learned a lot. That day was like my first time being introduced to the code base, and this pairing along with being able to use CodeC's recording tools kind of really helped me get hit the ground running with it. And so what we're here to do today is to not just carry on some of that work, but also talk about the event that we took part in last week as DistributeAid. So if I may, I'd love to go into that to talk about so Taylor, you introduced us, and by extension me, to the, I'm just going to share my screen here again, the Global Liquid Mob event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd love it. I'd love to know a little bit of the story here, like what it is and how you found them.
Totally. So reached out to this guy, Ian, that I saw on Twitter, just asking for help. Hey, how do we get more people engaged with our work, right? Because that's one of the challenges, not being open source tech for tech, is that we're not in front of a lot of developers. We have to go find people and tell them what we're doing, and then they're like, oh, that's really cool, I want to help, right? So it's just, how do we get that visibility in the tech world? And he introduced us to Bob, who wanted to try this experiment. Could we get a continuous 24-hour cycle kind of following the sun with different people around the world contributing to open source tech using this mob programming technique to kind of keep the flow going, right? And so the idea was it would start at 9 a.m. New Zealand time. It would follow the sun all the way around the world. It's not like a hackathon where you're pounding Red Bulls and staying up all night, but you kind of jump on for a few hours during your Friday evening or Saturday and jump off, and then the next group of people picks it up and keeps it going. And it worked. Like, we actually had people contributing continuously to DistributeAid for 24 hours. And amazing. I think a big part of that is these mob or ensemble programming techniques, where it's not everyone working on their own pieces individually. That's kind of what we're used to with the async, merge request or pull request driven workflows. So you go find your issue, you work on it, you get it in there, and then the social side happens in those pull requests, comments and issues. That's where feedback and stuff happens. This is everyone in the room, which could be 4 people, it could be 10 people, right? You're all looking at the same dev environment and working on it together. And so it's kind of like pair programming. There's a driver, there's a navigator, and then there's the mob, who are the people that can go, they're paying attention to what's going on, but they can also offer insights or comments, or that's a great time to just relax a little bit. You're not always on the spot. It's not so intense as pair programming can be. And you just kind of cycle through every events, like you write a function and then you kind of, switch roles, or every 5 minutes if you want to use a timer based sort of thing. And so that provides a really natural way for people to jump into that cycle, figure out what's going on, and then after 20, 30 minutes, it's their turn to be the driver and the navigator, and then, just keep that cycle rolling. So that's kind of what the experiment was and the core techniques behind it. And we participated in the first one last month. I said, oh man, this is like perfect for CodeC, right? That was, mob programming, sharing that context. But then we had this challenge of so many new people, because it's not just, one group that's like with it the whole time. It's all these new people coming in, and they have to get caught up without disrupting the flow. I was like, I got to get Ramon in on this. I know how much you like these open source events and stuff like that. And I showed people CodeC a little bit during the first one, and it was like they just got it. So yeah, I was really glad for you to join the last one. It was a ton of fun.
Yeah, that was my first time doing anything like this, and so yeah, I joined. I think I started on Saturday at something like 11 in the morning my time, and I think I stopped at 8 p.m. my time. And it was a lot of fun. Like, and it was great because it was something where you could it was great to be able to hang around and like talk to folks, get them unstuck on certain things. I think for me, what brought me so much joy was being able to have folks over there who's like, you know what, I've never really programmed in my life, and by doing this ensemble, by joining up in this ensemble, they were able to write TypeScript, which is what CodeC as well, but but DistributeAid's landing page is written in.
Yep.
And that was so gratifying, because not only did we as DistributeAid get some contributions, but also folks were being like, wow, I'm making this, and yeah, it was amazing. I also really liked the concept of taking a step back after what I've got here on the screen right now, doing these micro retrospectives to see what works, what didn't. It was really cool. And but for you, Taylor, as a maintainer of an open source project, I'm curious to hear, how was it for you? How did it go? What went well?
I mean, I was thrilled, right? So I think going into it the second time around, I could sit down and write a lot of code myself if I was just doing that on my own, but that wasn't the point for me, right? The point was to get new people excited about open source, introduce them to DistributeAid, and see if they want to continue to make contributions. And we saw a number of folks who were at the first event come back for the second event, which was super exciting. And there were 2 or 3 or 4 folks that said, hey, I want to keep doing this. Could we do it more often than once a month? So we're going to be onboarding some new people to DA's volunteer tech team who plan on making regular contributions. And I think you really hit the nail on the head. Not a lot of the people that joined us knew TypeScript or knew JavaScript at all, right? They certainly knew programming. There are different levels of skills and experience and stuff, but everyone was able to participate, and everyone felt comfortable participating. It wasn't like, hey, let's sit back and watch, the folks who know what they're doing do it, because your turn's going to come up in that cycle, and it's not a perform, like, you don't have to perform there. Everyone just wants to help you succeed. So it's kind of individualized based on what you're comfortable with, what your progress, if you're just new to TypeScript or something, let's help you figure out those types and make some progress, right? If you got that down, hey, let's look at this and look at some of the kind of higher level CS concepts in play here or something like that. If you really want to do testing, let's go write some tests. So yeah, I think that huge success. Absolutely thrilled with the event overall. It was great.
Yeah, that was actually one of the things one of the last things I was doing on that day was that we'd sort of gone off of writing code and started having a wider conversation in an ensemble context of one person driving, one person navigating, and everybody else talking about writing tests, and not just like unit tests or anything. These are called behavioral tests, which describe what we as users expect to see as a set of behavior. And that was fascinating, and for lack of a better term, slow paced, but it was great. It was great because it really helped us like simmer down and like take our minute to really understand what it is that we're doing here beyond the software level, beyond the code level. It's really like behavior. So that was really cool. It was overall a really cool event, and I definitely see the appeal.
Absolutely. And I think that's really important because with those higher level tests, that's something we've had a huge challenge dealing with. Is you have a lot of operational people on our team that are, booking the space at the warehouse, booking the trucks, figuring out how large volumes of aid move from one place to another extremely efficiently, right? And then you have a lot of, code contributors who have no idea how stuff gets to the store in the supermarket, right? And that's okay. But I think that how do we bring those two groups of people together to share that kind of product level understanding? What are we trying to build? And those sort of, I think the word is like gherkin style tests, those very high level tests. That's something that I can get my operations people writing. Here's the behavior that I want to see. Here's how this should work in the boundaries and stuff. And then coders can take that and pick it up. And that really, I think lets them transfer the important context without having to spend hours and hours and hours like showing people how the logistics industry works. So that was cool. Something else that I think is like very important at these events, it's so diverse. Did you pick up on that? Like,
yeah, there were folks from all over the world in that event. Yeah, it was great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we had folks, let's see, I was working with folks from the United States, from India, from Austria, like somebody here where I am as well. No, it was from everywhere. I think, yeah, from the United States.
Yeah.
Oh no, and somebody from the
Australia
Philippines
or something. Yeah, Philippines.
Yeah, so we were covering like a good chunk of the planet.
Yeah. No, I think it's from my experience in tech, having been in Silicon Valley and in Europe and stuff, you tend to see a lot of folks from like the same cities or the same countries, and you forget just how big this industry is and how many people are in it from all different walks of life. And so I think that this format of actually going around the world forces you to go find those people in other places in the world, right?
And this went, I think, to that note, I think that the biggest thing, and you mentioned this towards the beginning of this explanation, it was also quite a marathon, wasn't it? When did it end? Do you know how long it ran for this time?
Oh, I fell asleep at some point. Yeah, I couldn't make it. And I think that's one of the lessons is that we're just one project. And I think it really makes sense to have a number of open source projects there. I might limit Distribute Aid to like an 8-hour slice. I have to give credit to our team member, Aisha, though, who's like our tech coordinator. She did a lot. She was on there a lot and was really a huge assistance, in terms of setting it up, getting me and you organized, like, okay, who's going to be on when, what projects are we working on, and then just working with the coders, from that project management role to keep them rolling. I would jump in and help sort out a technical thing once in a while, but she really kept things driving through. So I think that was just getting the three of us working together took a lot off my plate. And then I think we just got to narrow the time commitment scope a little bit. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and check out what we worked on, shall we?
I'm super excited.
Let's do a little coding. We're going to be using the same tool that we used over the mob programming weekend. So I need to share my window. Cool. I'm going to definitely have to make this bigger. So excuse me for a minute, folks. Actually, I think I can make that wider as well.
I think that's one of the things for the folks who are watching right now. Even if mob programming isn't the right fit for you or your work or something like that, there's a lot there that you can kind of pick up on and take back to whatever style of coding you like to do. And so this tool, getpod.io, super cool.
Super handy because it kind of lets you share a development environment in a kind of a team context, or in this case, an ensemble context, which worked very well. So we were able to use this. So what you see here running at the moment is DistributeAid's, the code base for DistributeAid's new landing page, which is a TypeScript Gatsby project. And what's cool is that you see there, this might look very familiar. It kind of looks like it. I think it is based on Visual Studio Code.
I think it's a virtual machine running Visual Studio Code. Yeah.
Brilliant. And it's super impressive because what I'm running here in the terminal, if I give Taylor the URL, he'll be able to work on that on his side as well. And it's just great. And we've got the app running. And to that point, we've got the page that we are developing at the moment.
Yes, this was the proof of concept. Can I get content to show up on the screen?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how the banner works from it. I think the CodeC at the top. People can't see the URL bar. Not yes. That one. It's like on the stream banner. So I don't know if you can make the browser just a little bit shorter or.
Oh, let me give that a try. Oh yeah, there we go. Good call.
There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what's cool, you can share that link with everyone and they can get it pulled up on their computers, right? And check out the changes with us. If y'all have a CodeC account, you can run CodeC on this link that Ramon's going to share and start looking into how this works under the hood. And all of this is running on a Gitpod instance, right? So it's super collaborative. This is great. This is like what I want to do with our ops team, with our non-technical stakeholders is, can we get the coders to make some changes and then right then and there get feedback without having to do a whole CI/CD process. Here's the staging server. Let's get you the link like 3 days later. This can happen in real time.
Yeah, it's super impressive. And as you might recognize from our last stream with Taylor, since we've built CodeC into it, CodeC's running there too, which is just fantastic. And we can use that right away to get some context into what the ensemble and I were working on, which was the listing of regions where DistributeAid operates. Am I getting that correctly?
There we go. Yep. So those are the regions that we send shipments from or to. We do other things like needs assessments, which are focused on those regions. Obviously, we want that list to expand to the entire world to help everyone that we can. But we gotta start somewhere. We gotta make it regular, and then kind of scale that up in chunks at a time. And so Lebanon, for example, is the newest region we offered support to. A few months ago, we sent 2 containers full of aid, a whole bunch of soap, hygiene products, clothing, you name it, and they just arrived in the port. The 2 of them are right there, about to clear customs and get to the groups to distribute them in a couple of weeks here. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is running an older version. I think I might be on the wrong branch, I'm afraid.
Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, which I think there were 2 branches. There's the GLMP. Let me
take a look here. I think it was this one, the GLMP Hack Day 2 branch.
Hack Day 2, yeah.
So what I'm going to do is, again, because this is running on a browser, it just works like that we can just git checkout.
The copy paste might not work super well.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Cool.
Nice.
We can start up the server again with yarn dev. So while that's building, it should be done in just a moment, and then we can get back in, and then we'll be able to see y'all in the audience will be actually able to see what progress we made, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. So this is what it looked like before the event, and we're about to see what it looked like by the time Ramon and the breakout room he was leading got done with it. I'm almost tempted. Next time we. Oh wow.
So we made
That's
some progress.
fun.
We got some thumbnails going, and if you click on the pages themselves, we got the map there. It's a work in progress, but we're getting there.
Yep.
And yes, we
Uh,
started working on showing the shipments coming to and or from for example, Lebanon.
mhm. And we
And
might
that,
not have the Lebanon ones up in Contentful just yet. I'd recommend maybe Greece as our test case here, because that should have some shipment content as well.
excellent. Let's have a look. Yeah, right now I'm just dumping the JSON data
There we go.
in there, but hey, it worked.
Yeah.
And again, to go on about how incredible this ensemble programming event was, I didn't develop a lick of this. Like, it was all folks collaborating. It was great. It was fantastic. Well, when I say I didn't, I mean I didn't actually drive and do the coding.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's a team effort, and that's what I like about it. Is like you really just have to help folks get rolling in that cycle, and then they'll just keep on until they get to the next stopping point, or they run into some weird thing with TypeScript or something. It's like, okay, let's get you past this, and then it'll just keep going. It's awesome. Like, yeah,
Totally. So I guess, how shall we do this, Taylor? Do you want to? Shall we drive and navigate?
yeah, sure thing. Why don't you got the Git pod open? So
Yeah.
you drive, I'll navigate. But the first thing I want to do
Yeah.
is, it's been a few days and I wasn't involved in this breakout room. Ramon, can you go back to the index page and just show me a CodeC of that loading, and then click on Greece, and it'll run through Greece as well, so I can get caught up.
Got it. Will do. So we'll start a recording here. If you're not familiar with it, folks, CodeC allows you to create recordings of your JavaScript app in action, and then present you a data flow of what's taking place, what code is running, what data is getting passed to it as we go. We're currently in a beta. If you're interested in trying it out, please get in touch with us by either our Twitter, or I'll put some links up in just a second. Yeah, so that should cover it. I'll go ahead and stop the recording. Yeah, let me make this a little bit larger so everybody in the it's larger now. Yeah, so let's take a look. Shall we dive into the where we work page?
Yep, that makes sense to me.
Cool. So what we can see here is the code that was being run, as well as the data we were interacting with. So we can use this to take a look at the execution of loading that page.
Mm-hmm. So the first bit there was like when the module was loaded, and that would be if you're setting any constants, if you're kind of doing anything at a bit more of a static level. And this is the render function. So now the where we work page is being rendered. We're actually passing some props into it. We want to make sure that it's getting the right data and it's showing the right things on the screen. Yeah. What should we be seeing here, Ramon?
So let's see. This is our list. Let's see. This is our where we work TSX file. We return a simple layout where we loop through all of the nodes. Let's take a look at here what's going on. So we've got here CodeC is displaying a loop where we can take a look at each iteration of what was being rendered. This list, this table, sorry, not a list. Let's see. Yeah, we can see here a table of each of those regions that was being displayed. So we can see here one for each, one for Lebanon, the Balkans, Germany. We can see there we're rendering its Gatsby image data, as well as the slug for the URL, the name for displaying the name and the link, and the ContentfulId for the key.
Mm-hmm.
So once we did that, let me scroll down a little bit more, because then we clicked on the link to open up the region page.
Mm-hmm.
So if we click on that, we can take a look here. Sorry, I think I went too low. Up here. Ah, yes.
There we go.
Cool. So yeah, so then this is the region page TypeScript file. And what we did here was load up 3 pieces of data, which I can inspect here in the inspector. The region data itself, which includes the map photo. That's the photo that we rendered. The name. And here's the 2 new ones that we added. The from regions and to regions. These were 2 GraphQL requests that we added to get a set of deliveries from Greece. For example, this one here.
Mm-hmm.
And this one here going to Greece. For example, from Germany to Lesbos.
Right
I hope
on.
I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah, no, perfect. And that makes a lot of sense to me. We see lots of shipments to Greece, and then it looks like there was a shipment entered from one part of Greece to another, from Thessaloniki in northern Greece to one of the islands. Nice. So that's definitely what I'd expect to see. And can you show me the GraphQL code real quick? I just want to see how that bit works. It should just be in CodeC right there, right? If you scroll down.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't think we actually ran it, though, did we?
I'm not sure. So that would be run. Oh, you know what? That's part of Gatsby. That's not part of the React render cycle.
But at least we know now where we are making this request, which would be this region page. So we can jump back into our code base. And if I press Control P, it allows me to look up files by name. So I know region page. There we go.
Sweet.
We can now scroll down and find our GraphQL regions. Requests, which includes these regions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So I haven't seen this like the element match diving into the region ContentfulId, which we're passing to this page.
Indeed.
That makes a lot of sense. Nice.
So we do that for the shipments coming to a region, and if I scroll down a little bit and gathering all the data that comes from GraphQL, and then the from regions one, which is the same thing except instead of filtering by 2 subregions, it's from subregions.
Awesome. That makes a lot of sense to me. I feel caught up, ready to go.
Yeah.
And one of the nice things that we were doing during the event was every time there's kind of a pause for one of those retros or lunch or something, I saw you were making a commit and then doing a quick CodeC in that kind of work in progress pull request, so that if new people were joining, they could kind of do this for themselves. They could just click that link. That was really neat.
Exactly. We were using, as you can see here, I hope the size is okay. We were using CodeC to deliver context between, as you said, between switches. So for example, rendering the where we work page maps as thumbnails, since we could make these open, since this is an open source project, we were able to deliver these recordings. And even further, one thing that I would have liked to do had I had more time was to also add stories for these. Annotate them as we go.
This is the bit that the difference between this one and the last one or something like that. That makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah.
Exactly.
But I love how fast CodeC is, right? It's really easy to just click that record button, do a refresh, do one thing on the page. And that means that you can literally get one in there. As people saw, you don't need these huge commit messages. You don't need some complex output from a CI/CD pipeline. You can just click record, drop a link, and it's like, here's where I left it off at. And then if anyone wants to catch up on the latest, they can just go to the latest link. It doesn't really, you're not wasting time if you do 4 of those by yourself and then someone jumps in, because at the end there, they'll save so much time getting caught up and just seeing where that pull request is.
Indeed, and you don't even need an account to access these recordings, these
Yeah.
open ones. But yeah, so we've done that. Are we ready to display these shipments?
Yeah, let's make it happen. I'm excited.
Cool. All right, so I'll be driving then.
Okay, cool. So I think you got the output in JSON, right? And we want to start simplifying that and then giving it some structure. So maybe for right now, if we could just do lists of shipments under the to shipments and from shipments, and just show the shipment name or title. That would be a good start. And then we can just see, hey, this is what we're actually dealing with, and add on more data from there.
We need a loop.
Give me 1 second. A table might also work if that's
Okay.
easier. Yeah, we could do a table and just start off with the shipment name column there.
Cool.
So we want to add a T head, T body, and then we can add different stats for each shipment.
So yeah, TH. I think it was TH.
Mm-hmm.
Name of the shipment? Yeah.
Yep, just name or title or something like that.
Cool. And then here we would have the loop. How did I do that again? You need a curly braces. Then we've got this variable that we declared up here called to shipments.
Mm-hmm. So I think we'd want to map that into JSX.
Got it.
That would become a function that returns each row there.
Map, and then we need so loop would be like this. Need curly brackets. And then return some JSX.
Yep, that makes sense to me.
No, it's not an LI. A row.
Oh, good. Be a TR, yeah.
Right. We need that data.
Mm-hmm. We can go back to the CodeC though and just figure out what the field should be, right? Because it's all in there. We're just looking at the data passed in. So it is shipment.name after all.
Perfect.
Cool.
Name. Yeah.
Yeah. I think one thing is in the table's head, if we could wrap that TH in a TR as well.
Ah, yeah.
So we have a header row. Yeah.
Good call.
Nice. And let's just see what that looks like here. Uh-oh, runtime error.
To shipments.map is not a function.
Okay.
Ah.
So what's going on there?
Huh.
Oh, is it to shipments.nodes or something like that?
Oh, you know what? You're right, it is. And I wonder if I can get away with just calling that here. You think?
Yeah. Did try it out? Hey, there we go.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Okay, and then there's the one from shipment at the bottom there, which is still in JSON form. Cool. And what's really cool about this is if we want to try some mod programming here, I'm navigating, Ramon's driving, commenters on the stream, you can be the mob. You can have that URL that we're looking at when we're testing the changes here up and running, and give us a shout in the comments if you notice anything that we can improve as we're coding. If you hit that refresh button faster than Ramon, throw a thumbs up in there. And now we're doing mob programming right here on the stream.
Yeah, please, like any contributions, totally welcome. This is the great thing about the ensemble programming ethos, I guess.
Yeah.
So sorry, one second. Yeah, right. We were doing now the shipments coming into Greece.
Totally. Now, this is an interesting question. We should make a decision here, because all of the shipments from Greece are also going to Greece, right?
True.
So I think there was a comment on the PR. Should we show those in one list or the other, or in both? Should we make the to and from like a property of the shipment row, as long as it's something to do with Greece, and show it up there?
What? I'm not sure I understood your suggestion.
Like, we could have two lists of shipments to Greece and then shipments from Greece, but we could also just have one list of shipments that start or end in Greece, and then show that could be a column of like, this one's going to Greece, this one's coming from Greece, or it's staying within Greece. So you just use some arrows or something to mark that for now.
Cool. Yeah, sounds good. For that, we would need to tweak our GraphQL request. Is that correct?
Maybe. I'm not the best with GraphQL. You might know it a bit better than me. Can we do comparisons, or should we still pull down the same data and then just kind of do the comparisons in JavaScript?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, let's do that. All right. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm not very experienced with GraphQL either, so it would be a learning experience. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm just gonna make some space here. Okay, right. So we have our shipments coming to and coming from that region.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd want to combine these two lists, filtering out the one where they overlap.
Yeah, I think we want to find the intersection and pull that out into its own list, and then we can basically show all three lists in the same table, but just have a column. If it's going to, we mark it as going to. If it's going from, we mark it as going from. Or if it's going like an internal shipment, we call those internal transfers, where it's one of our partners transferring and sharing their aid with another partner based on what's needed at the time.
Cool. I think what we can do is grab. Well, sorry, I'm not navigating. I'm driving.
I mean, we could switch it up. I could open up the Git
Sure.
pod. Okay.
Sure. Let me give you the link here.
Yep.
And we can totally switch it up.
Nice.
You can go ahead and share your screen, and I can put it up here.
Okay. Give me. Oh, I'm missing a permission on the workspace. So.
Yes. Of course.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, I'm excited.
Okay, yeah, I'm literally picking up where you left off. I'm going to share my screen.
So,
can everyone see me? I can't see the chat or anything. I only have one monitor here. So
All
Ramon,
good.
tell me, you're a navigator. You navigate me if anything gets
Sure.
cool.
Go ahead and press. I think it's yeah. Go to
Uh,
the.
oh
I think it's under
no,
templates
templates. Yeah,
and
there we
then
go. The
region
region
page.
page. Sweet.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, from here, you should be. So we're gonna try and combine both of these arrays, right?
Mhm.
So in line 26, add a dot nodes to the end. So now these are both the same. And then
Mhm.
let's add a new const below that. Yeah, and let's call it all shipments,
Sweet.
right? And now we're going to, now this is what I don't know. let's, I'm going to do
Mm.
some Googling in the meantime. JavaScript, no, we're in TypeScript, but yeah, that applies in JavaScript.
The same thing.
Combine two arrays, and then we're going to make those unique.
I
Aha!
feel like an array concat or something.
Yeah, it is concat, exactly. So two shipments, dot concat, and then from shipments. Or
Okay.
reduce. Reduce? What is reduce? Let's do that. Oh, no, apparently all good. So concat, and then this is the combined array, but we still want to have remove all duplicates. JS remove duplicates from array.
Yeah, because we'll have
We'll have some,
potentially the one shipment, which was both a to and a from shipment, will be in there twice now, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've been coding it a lot. Oh, sorry. V prevails here in chat recommends reduce. So let's go with
Okay.
that. JavaScript reduce array. I wonder what that does. Just looking it up here in the. Aha, so we can use reduce. Let's see. Hmm. Yeah, we have an accumulator and a current value. So
Right. So we have this list of all shipments,
yeah, and
and
I think we'd want to replace concatenating it.
well, wouldn't we? Because if we just do the reduce on two shipments, there might be shipments on the from side that aren't included, where they're just from Greece. Like we're about to send 100,000 masks from Greece to Serbia.
Right.
And so we wouldn't want to ignore those, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think what we'd want to do is, right, we have a function called reduce.
So let's list out what needs to happen here. Let's do some, what was it? It was like the kind of the high level. We did this in the mob program. When you get stuck, let's just step back
Yeah.
from the code and figure out what we need to do.
Right. Exactly. I'm looking up what reduce does, and what it does is it executes a function that you provide on each element of the array, resulting in a single output value.
Mm-hmm.
So each I don't know why I'm struggling.
So I think I've used this a little bit before. Basically, it's going to take all of these shipments that are concatenated together in one array, and the single output value, that makes sense if you're like adding numbers together. It could take an array of numbers and then add each element in the array and give you a single number at the end. In this case, I'm going to suggest that our output value, if we make it a JavaScript object and kind of treat this like a hash map, right? We can basically use the contentful ID and enter shipments in there. And that'll also let us see if a shipment's double entered or not. We don't have to enter it twice, right?
Right.
So we want to do something. It's going to loop through all shipments. It'll give us a shipment. Do not know Visual Studio. So it'll give us a shipment for every shipment in the array. And then the accumulator will be kind of like this hash map that we're building up.
Yeah, what vPrevail suggests here, and right, yeah, what vPrevail suggests here is use reduce on the to shipments array. Then per shipment, check if it's included in the from shipments as well. And if it is, you add it to the accumulator, thus creating a list that only consists of shipments that are in both lists.
Okay. That makes sense. So we have two shipments,
Dot
from
reduced.
Shipments, and then both. And then we can remove the ones that are in both from the other ones.
Yeah, I guess so. Let's try that.
Let's try it out.
Let's mess around.
Try it out.
So let's call two shipments dot reduce.
Two shipments dot reduce.
Yeah. And then the parameters it takes are a function and the initial value.
Mm-hmm. And we want to end up with an array here, right?
Right. So that last one is the initial value. So what if, okay, I think it just clicked for me, and I'm sorry if I'm doing this completely off the rails. What if our initial value is from shipments? Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Bear with me. I think I got this.
Go.
Thank you so much, vPrevails. This is messing with my head, and I love it. So the first, so in that reduce function, we're passing in a function. In the reduce, yeah, we've got a function that the parameters are shipment and accumulator. It should be the way around. Okay. So it should be accumulator and then shipment. So our accumulator currently holds all of from shipments, right? Like at the first pass. So now we're iterating through we're iterating through two shipments, calling reduce. So now if the accumulator does not include shipment, then we return accumulator plus shipment. Yeah. I think you agree, right? vPrevails.
Something like that.
I'm displaying a yes.
Nice.
Thank you very much for your help. This is awesome. Okay.
I think we're almost there.
Yeah, no, hey, vPrevail says I also have no idea what I'm doing. This is what the whole point of this is. Awesome. Cool. So return accumulator. Cool.
And so I think it's just that the inside of the if statement, how do we check to see if that shipment is in the accumulator? Are we going to have to loop through everything, or is there kind of a shortcut function in JavaScript, like a contains or something like that?
Let's give it a try. How to determine if an object is in an array, please. The thing you return becomes the next accumulator. Absolutely. Array is array. Contains. Is there a contains in JavaScript / TypeScript? Includes. Array.includes.
Okay.
Thank you. Includes shipment.
Something like that.
Accumulator.push shipment. That looks good to me.
Okay. Let's try it out here. I'm just wondering if I can make TypeScript a bit happy if there's like an array.
Oh yeah, and then generic type array requires.
Oh, okay. Maybe we can do like an array of
any. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think shipment needs a type declaration as well.
It'll be fine. I could explicitly make it
Oh, okay,
any.
I'm not.
Yeah. No. I
I'm
mean,
not
that's
very.
a good call. I should be using more of TypeScript. We're kind of using it at some of the boundary layers, but I'm not super familiar, so I get a bit frustrated and just make everything any, which isn't always the best.
vPrevail says, don't forget to return on line 29. But I think push, if I'm not mistaken, is changing the accumulator, right? Appends to unit returns.
The new length, yeah. So I think it modifies the accumulator. JavaScript's not idempotent. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but
Idempotent?
yeah, idempotent. So it'll change the accumulator array. So we don't
Okay,
have to do something like accumulator equals accumulator dot push.
gotcha. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did see that push returns the length, the new length,
yeah.
and returns the new length of the array. Well, I am learning so much about JavaScript and TypeScript today. Okay, cool. So I guess in theory, this should work.
And how do we get some output to test where we're at right now?
Well, accumulator shipment. Oh, I like that too.
we
vPrevails
could
also
we could
recommends this.
we should be able to the lengths of to shipment, from shipment, and all shipment. If we add up the lengths from to and from, it should equal
Yeah,
the length of all, right?
true.
Or
Ah,
something close to that. We'll find out.
yeah, I guess a good way to test it would be to oh yeah, do it.
Something like this.
Yeah, let's do it. Now, if it's included in both, it should actually, the all shipments should be a little bit smaller.
And we know that there's one that's included in both.
Exactly. So
So cool.
yeah, let's give it a try.
Right on. Where's the URL that I get to? It's gonna be somewhere very.
Oh, here, I'll paste it in the
Okay. Sweet.
I'll paste it here for you.
We're doing the infinite stream thing.
Nice.
So many. That's going to be in like some retro video in the future for sure. Okay. So we have 17, 1, and 1. Can we use CodeC to see what's going on in that reduce function?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
That's, yeah. I'm like, oh, do we console.log our way through or something? I'm like, oh no, there's CodeC. It's like perfect for this. Okay, so I'll just refresh here.
Perfect.
And we're good.
Excellent. So if we scroll down now to the region page template, I think. Yeah. Nice. So there's our all shipments.
Right on. So from shipments has one entry.
Yeah.
To shipments has the 17 that we expect. And then what does all shipments end up being? That ends up being one entry. And so we can see here that it's only starting, it's only the from shipments that it's getting, right? That's the starting value, and that's what all shipments is being set to. So there's something where this if statement is always returning false, or the accumulator, we're not pushing the shipment onto it or something like that.
Oh, vPrevails mentions here. Right now, it's actually filtering out only the shipment that is in both lists.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we need
Good.
like a not includes. Yeah. And we can see that if we step through here, we see that everything is false, right?
Gosh, CodeC is so good. I know I can't. I know I'm super biased, but that's so helpful.
It's so helpful just to confirm. It's like I think that this should be false every time because there's a logic error, and let me just confirm it real quick on the test data that I have, and right on.
So if it doesn't include it, then I think that's part of the pseudocode we wrote as well.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so if it does not include,
perfect.
I keep going back. The recording has the red light in the tab.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, that one. That's the light one. And there we go. Okay.
There we go. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Sweet. So now we thought that since from shipments that had one shipment on it, which was duplicated across both of them because it was from Greece and to Greece. So we thought that all shipments would only have 17 entries as well.
Yeah.
So super easy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it includes 0, 1. That's why we're coming up with 18. Sorry.
That's our no, you're right. That's our duplicate right there. Is the 0 entry that's coming from shipments. That's what we start off with, right? And then it's also repeated in 2 shipments. That's the second one in 2 shipments. We can check that out if we go back up to 2 shipments right here. It's that 30D7 ID. Mm-hmm. So for some reason, now we're just taking from shipments and we're adding every 2 shipments to it. And so we're not filtering out the duplicates.
Could it be that they're not quite the exact same object?
Quite possibly, yeah. So is there a way, instead of just saying, like, these would be different objects in JavaScript because they're coming from 2 different GraphQL queries, could we do the filtering like based on ID instead?
That's what I would have.
ID.
That's what I would suggest.
Okay.
So maybe accumulator dot map ID. I'm thinking in Ruby today. Sorry, folks.
Good. I'm wondering if there's a...
Oh, vPrevail suggests .find. What's that? JavaScript. Find. Oh, geez, we're coming up on time. Sorry to keep you, Taylor. This is just way
this is fun. Let's keep doing this as long as the audience keeps helping us out here.
Yeah. So vPrevails recommend, instead of includes, they recommend this: accumulator.find item, where item ID equals triple equals shipment ID. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, nice. Using a perfect.
It's a little bit more readable.
Remove the curly brackets. Oh, remove the curly brackets. Apparent. Oh, yeah, because it's a one-liner. Or return. Okay. Or return.
There we go. We need to return the boolean. Sweet. So if the accumulator already has an item which is the same as the shipment based on the IDs there, then we'll say it has the shipment. If it doesn't have the shipment, then we'll add the shipment to the accumulator, and then we'll return the current state of the accumulator to get our list of all shipments.
There's flies and vPrevails are saying this burned me yesterday, and vPrevails is like every day.
Nice.
So that got it down to 12.
So that's interesting. So there were more duplicates than we thought somehow.
Maybe my GraphQL query was bad.
Maybe it might have been. Oh, that's really interesting. Oh, that's really interesting because sometimes we have shipments that'll make multiple stops in Greece, right? So it might stop in Athens and then continue on to Thessaloniki. And so I wonder if those shipments showed up twice in your GraphQL query because those are two different kind of subregions in Greece based on that data structure.
So
It's like because it goes from subregion to region, that kind of that creates multiple edges for the same shipment based on the direction we're going here. So we might have.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
This is one of those problems that's turned out to be not a lot more complicated than I first thought at a first glance.
But what's really cool is that we can just go into CodeC each time. It's like a data problem, right? This is actually a problem with the data and are we getting the right data? Does it make sense? And so we can just jump right in here and look at two shipments and see if there's kind of duplicates. Yep, right here, 3ENMAR, and the next one, 3ENMAR.
So it's working.
Yeah, this is working great. The algorithm works. We're selecting multiple copies of the same entry, and that's because it's going to two different subregions, which is why we see it show up twice when we pick it out, from regions to shipments, kind of going the other way. This is from shipments to two different subregions, but if we go the other way, there's actually two edges in GraphQL leading to this shipment. So I think everything's working. We just needed to, know which direction we're going here. Yeah.
Wow. I just want to say, thank you so much to the chat. We Prevails and Liz, you've both helped us so much.
Yeah.
This is great. I love puzzles like this. I did a course in university many, many years ago on Haskell, and that rewired my brain to think more functionally. And I'm infinitely thankful for that course because it just, or maybe not thankful because now it just messed with my brain. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
this is super fun. Yeah. But I have to say, if I may ask us to hit the brakes on this, because I have been streaming for a combined total of almost 3 hours today.
Totally.
And I think it's time for me. I think, we should totally pick this up again as soon as possible if you have time. Shall we go ahead and commit?
Yeah. Okay. Let's wrap it up with a commit. That's super smart. And I can just copy a link from the CodeC that I just
brilliant.
made there. Mm-hmm.
So, thank you.
Feature, we are now filtering out duplicate shipments on the regions page, which is awesome. I'm going to go ahead and push that.
Brilliant. Out of curiosity, is that pushing as me or you?
How do I find that out? Is there like a git who am I?
Oh yeah.
Config user.
Or maybe. Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's the fun thing with Gitpod is actually it is the same machine. So.
Yeah, true. Or as vPrevail says, or a log, that would have done it too. Very true. Yeah, cool. Well, this was fun. Wish I could do it all day.
Yeah. No, it's great. I mean, what did we see here? We used actual mob programming. I thought we were just going to kind of pair up, but with all the help from the audience, that's what this mob programming thing is. We used CodeC, we used GitPod, and we had a very productive and very social and very friendly coding experience using all of these kind of next-gen tools and techniques. And It was fun. Anytime.
That was super fun. Yeah, no, thank you so much, Taylor, and to the chat, thank you once again for being in an ensemble with us. It was super fun. I had a wonderful time, and let's do this again soon, Taylor, please.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Take care,
All right.
y'all.
Well, folks, thanks again. Have a wonderful day, and see you next time. Bye now.